Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, everyone. Hi, friends. Welcome, new subscribers. Welcome, old subscribers. Welcome, all. Thank you for your practice, your curiosity. We are in part 2 of the 10 realms, 10 worlds. And we left off just before we went into humanity. And just as a reminder, to recap real quick, there's a tendency to we like humans, we like to reduce things to their simplest form. And so the tendency is to look at the 10 worlds as these are all personalities or characters or what have you. And I made quite a point last time to go look at other concepts in this book, like suchness and engine of life and so on and so forth. The Nidana, the 9 consciousnesses, all of them point to this moment by moment instantiation of tendencies and conditions. And when we say tendencies and conditions, we're not saying tendencies from these 10 realms. In fact, the 10 realms are only the first little baby step into, as you know, the 10 within the 10, 100 realms. So right away, and we're talking moment to moment, so you don't have time to sit in the animality of the hunger of hell, or the hell of Buddhahood of learning, or the bodhisattva of, pick any 3, or pick any 10, or pick any 100. Pretty soon it just gets to be this big cloud of possibilities, influences. That's what is meant by the 3,000 realms in every single thought moment, right? So don't be the alchemist. Don't try to be a chemist of mind states and say, well, that day I was more in these 10 or these 3 or that one. No, you never are. What's important to understand about the 10 worlds is that it's a glimpse at the kind of influences that combine, consolidate, go around, weave through your total life tendencies, karma, right? All of the billions and trillions and zillions of little things happening that make up your body and brain and sight and ears, consciousnesses, and mind, that emergent property, all being influenced by this little mist of realms, possibilities, influences. That if you stub your toe, you will have instantly run into thousands of realms that are focused on everything from, oops, I don't want to fall, to, crap, that really hurt like hell, to, do I need to fix it? Do I need to just stumble and forget about it? I mean, that whole range is going on in your mind, depending on how you stub your toe, yeah? So it's more like that. And if you hurt or damaged your toe, caused yourself harm, then you will then spend time in a certain category of thousands of realms, including rapture and Buddhahood, as you set about repairing, treating, first aiding, whatever, for your stubbed toe. Now, you sit there and you lament and whine and I can't believe I stubbed my toe. Well, now you're involved in that decision making. Now you're taking some of these tendencies and conditions and you're keeping them going moment to moment to moment to moment. I know it hurts, but do you really need to, when you're a child, You slip into these tendencies and conditions very easily, as you do as an adult, but you wallow in it when you're a child. As you grow older and mature, you understand, oh, there's a tendency for me to just want to sit here and go, boo, but that doesn't do me any good. What I need to do is get to the bathroom, clean up this scratch or this wound or whatever it is, and treat it, and then favor it, and go on with my day, right? I've heard this kind of analogy all my life about life condition, right? That's in this book too. And it's very much what the realms are about. How that life condition comes to be experienced is largely how we control our mind, right? Do we have these thousands of realms constantly influencing us willy-nilly, and we're just waiting to react to it? Because that's how ignorant people, right, spend their lives. As I've said before, falling through life. What was my example? Falling through a tree and all the branches, and you're just falling backwards, so you're just waiting for the next branch to hit you to figure out, what hurts, and fear, right? Or you turn around, you slow things down, and you navigate through the branches, and you slow yourself down, and right? So do you take control of what's happening in your life? Do you observe it as it's occurring so that you can interact, engage, and capitalize on it? Or are you just waiting and being a victim? That's essentially the same story over and over again of the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. Are you simply going to be a victim of your own attachments, accruing, identifying, and have stress and anxiety about it? Or are you going to engage as it's happening and be at the helm as much as you can be? Yes, life will happen. But are you an observer? Are you in the flow of it? Are you going, oops, and then stumble and instead of crush, fall, and, my toe? Or does your toe just hit something and you go, oops, and you step over it and on you go. It's gone. It's in the past. What is your life condition? And that's what we're achieving when we chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. We're opening that gateway of experience that makes us present now and into the next, now and into the next, now and into the next. Not, oh, that was terrible. Let me lament about what was terrible. It's gone. It's in the past, but I'm still lamenting, so I'm reestablishing my connection with something that no longer exists, but I'm going to persist. It's not the way to live life, not to live life fully engaged with our maximal potential, right? So here we go. The next world is called by different names. The more recent term I've heard was humanity, and that's how it is in the book. But I remember when I learned this originally, the Japanese name Nin was more about tranquility. But the interesting thing about tranquility, although that's, an easy Western term to apply to this, it's really a world of this idea of no change, right? Status quo. People say, well, we resist change. Yeah, but it's kind of silly, isn't it? Because if we're in momentum, and you can apply, hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour to our seriously, scientifically, we are hauling ass through space, whatever that is. But life, moment to moment, is a momentum. So, to be static, there's the problem again, because nothing is static. To envision the mind as static is really retarding. right? You're going back. You're not staying with life. You're dying. Tranquility. It's really a delusion to think of, I'm in tranquility. No. Equanimity, yes. Tranquility, no. So this is another world that is somewhat difficult to describe. This state is often mistaken for enlightenment, like in Chan or Zen or some other forms of yogics. There's all kinds of philosophies out there that will chase after this mystical tranquility, even by Buddhists, yeah? This is a life condition of stasis. And as we know, there is no such thing as stasis. It's a word we invented to identify something that really doesn't exist. Where the perception is that nothing changes or a status quo, there it is. It is a condition where you can use rational judgments to settle or affect no change in your mind. You can carry on conversations and have dialogues without becoming distraught about concerns for your life or the lives of others. So much effort is put forth to avoid emotionalism or passion that, despite what you would think at first view, this world is actually exhausting, in that it is possible to remain in it without just shutting out the realities of your life and the lives of others. Often mistaken for equanimity, which is calm within activity, tranquility being stasis. By avoiding the constantly changing realms of life, this life condition also halts progress toward enlightenment, Buddha-ness. So, I don't know why they call it humanity. Maybe that's a slight on non-Buddhists. I'd rather see it as just a poor label. Tranquility to me kind of sums it up best, but I went with what's most popularized so that it's easy to identify. Hopefully the description clears things up. The next is another confusing label, Western words being what they are, rapture. More closely related to the translations would be heavenly beings. Nice, that's very different rhetorically, isn't it? In Japanese, ten, right? The condition of rapture, as the name implies, is one of elation or ecstasy, okay? It can be the result of a positive outcome within the world of hunger, for example. Oh, right? You're hungering for sex, and then you find somebody and you have a wonderful exploration into sex. It's so satiating. It's rapturous, right? Orgasm has often been linked to nirvana itself in Hindu sects and so forth, yeah? We understand differently, but we're talking about rapture. It's a very ephemeral, very temporary state. A main characteristic of this condition is that it is short-lived. This realm also has the strong influence of discarding all other conditions and isolates situational awareness to the degree of ignorance and irresponsibility. Rapture, as all the realms, easily combines with other tendencies or realms to create myriad justifications and delusions, right? You ever see somebody go on a rant, maybe in a meeting or at work or in the family on holiday, and they're feeding off their own excitement, right? And they're just going. They don't care about who else is in the room, who they might be, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. People, now this is the 6 lower worlds. We went through the 4, now we've added 2. These 6 lower worlds is where many people who don't work on themselves, who don't practice a Buddhist-like investigation of self, tend to cycle through these worlds from hell to rapture, right? It's kind of a package, a limit to limit, if you will, right? Of course, they don't even bother to see that there's rapture in hell. That would blow their minds, but right? But it's kind of the Samsaric parameters from hell to rapture, and we're chasing rapture, right? That's the normal ignorant mind. Normal. And they'll cycle through these lower worlds over and over again without any hope of breaking free from them. Exactly analogous to the earlier discussion of falling through life, right? Like Gurdjieff talks about, just sleepwalking through life. The environment easily manipulates the person in these worlds, right? Any little thing sends you off. And their happiness relies heavily on their external success, possessions, ownership. Samsara. The important thing to understand about the concept of the 10 worlds and life condition is that it is relatively easy to obtain external goals. But to change one's central life tendency, that's quite difficult, right? That karmic freight train. Even after obtaining a new car or relationship, a person will shortly fall from the world of rapture into their old feelings or life tendencies as dictated by their karmic freight train of life tendencies. See the 3,000 realms, right? Hopefully, you guys, I'm making this point over and over again because I want to really guard you against falling into the trap of trying to identify the 10 worlds like they're moods. They're not. They're moment-to-moment little influences. And they're cumulative, and they shift. And what shifts them is your active moment-to-moment being. It's an interrelated, interpenetrating aspect of our life experience. It's really, really granular. So don't be surprised if it seems elusive. It should be. The only reason we're identifying, it's like identifying quarks and electrons and protons. You don't see them. But knowing they exist and how they work helps you more profoundly understand why you can clap your hands together without them going through one another. Don't really think about that, do we? But all of that's going on. The next world, Shomon, starts to get more interesting and more specifically Buddhist. Why do I say this? Well, Shomon is the world of learning. Well, we all go to school, Sifu. I mean, we all know what learning is. But learning in this aspect of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment is the hearing of the Dharma, the exposure to Shakyamuni's teachings on self-realization. That's a very specific kind of learning now, because that learning isn't about the external world. That learning is about, how's this mind thing working? How is my life actually manifesting? How should I be experiencing what is truly happening rather than experiencing all the stuff? That world of learning. As the name of this realm implies, the world of learning is experienced when you are gaining knowledge or understanding, insights about the world around you or your life itself. More specifically, though, it is a realm defined in Buddhism as the capacity to truly hear and ingest the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha or the Dharma. It is said that a seeking mind is key to wisdom. And you've probably heard teachers say that without effort on the part of their students, learning will not take place. And as you've heard me say, learning is actually self-teaching, right? Ultimately, it is we ourselves that teach our minds. Those we call teachers are simply offering us the opportunity to teach ourselves. So that's learning, or voice hearers, or the world of learning. The next world, you probably all remember, right after learning, realization. Now, we're not talking about the realization of Buddha-ness. We're talking about a realm of influence, also called cause-awakened ones. So you start to get a clue. In Japanese, engaku. The world of realization takes learning one step further. This is the self-teaching, the aha moments. It requires even more effort. By internalizing the knowledge and adding something of your own creativity to it, you can take your learning a step further and actually teach your mind and gain insight. And that's the prajna, right? The insight into the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha. Well, now I know what he meant by that story, right? You can learn the story of the sandalwood log with the turtle that comes up every 1,000 years to look for a log to sun himself, blah, 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 blah. And you can know that story very well. But do you understand the meaning of it? That's the self-teaching. That's the insight. That's the world of realization. Once again, it is our effort to inculcate into our karmic tendencies the lessons offered by Shakyamuni Buddha, the Dharma. Next up is the world of Bodhisattva. As we inculcate more of these insights, we become more and more engaged with the wisdom we derive from the Buddha-ness, the world of Buddha. And that affects and effects change in our samsaric being. Not least of which is that energy influences our environment. Shoju is already happening just by virtue of our honing our minds. The world of Bodhisattva is a naturally occurring condition of life. What? Yeah, it's naturally occurring, but grasping, inculcating, using, and radiating that quality of life, see, does your mind control you, or do you control your mind? Although in Buddhist teaching it is a mind state of propagation for the facilitating of others to discover the Dharma, see, that's a much greater extension on the natural ability we have, just like the natural ability we have for Buddha-ness. But until we recognize it, develop it, and immerse ourselves in it, it's idle, it's asleep. So you can say, somebody can be very helpful to others. We don't know what the agenda is in their mind, though. And you might say, well, it's very bodhisattva behavior, but is it? Because truly, bodhisattva, Buddhist bodhisattva behavior, is based on enlightening others, helping others, all well and good. But leading people, helping others toward their self-enlightenment, that's Buddhist bodhisattva. You see the difference? It is the life condition where you actually care about another person's life as you do your own. Or as Shakyamuni put it, quote, to care as though they are your only child, end quote. How many times in your life can you say you actually felt about another person? Not necessarily a relative or someone you know, but a complete stranger. Like you wanted so much to help them as though they were your only child. The depth of compassion, love, connection, right? You say, Oh, seafood, that's silly. There's no way. Well, that's Buddhist compassion, right? And I've talked about compassion before as it's not the same as empathy, right? I wonder if I should put that in this book. Because I did a video on this confusion in the past. Buddhist compassion is very specific. Darn it, I may have to add that to the book. All right, let's go on. Because it is so hard to love, to care, to be compassionate, it is a life condition that also yields a great cause-effect within your life. Right? Cause-effect is the same thing. So as you're performing this experience of compassion, your life is affected. That's what the cause and effect talk is about. It's immediate. And you transcend and transmigrate from samsaric concerns to enlightenment concerns. The only way to consistently experience the world of Bodhisattva is by raising your life experience to the next and highest realm, the world of Buddhahood. This is to live in the Buddha way. And that is the highest form of Bodhisattva, right? We remain in samsara, physical beings, but with an enlightened mind to assist others. Because what is the goal of Buddha? His whole life was an example, Shakyamuni Buddha, to bring all people to enlightenment, the same as he. And that's what the Lotus Sutra is, the very formula, the very method, the very way to do this for each and every one of us and those we influence. We are the bodhisattvas of the earth. All right, final world, Buddhahood. Or Butsu in Japanese, right? Or Buddha. This world, or life condition, if you will, is the most difficult to explain. It is the condition of life that exhibits infinite wisdom, strong life force and vitality, and tremendous good fortune. Do we define what that is? No, because good fortune for you is different than good fortune for me. In samsaric terms, we think of good fortune as reversing ill fortune, but that's not what we're talking about in Buddhism. Good fortune in Buddhism is simply attaining enlightenment and maintaining it in this life, whatever that looks like for you. Buddha wisdom here does not refer to knowledge. Let me say that again. Buddha wisdom does not refer to knowledge. You may have memorized every single sutra ever translated or written. You may excel even Kumarajiva in his ability to read, transcribe, and right. That's knowledge. Wisdom is about engagement in each moment and making cause-effect relationship with each moment into the next for the best possible outcome. What is the best possible outcome? Enlightenment. Does every act of your mind, your words, your thoughts, your physical deeds, every single one of them constantly move toward enlightenment for yourself and your environment and others? Does it? It's quite a tall order, isn't it? Working towards it, remember Aristotle? Working towards it is living a full life. Now, do you understand? Let's go on. It is, in fact, the actual experience of the engine of life. Let me say those two sentences again. It is the condition of life that exhibits infinite wisdom, strong light force and vitality, and tremendous good fortune. Buddha, wisdom, here does not refer to knowledge. It is, in fact, the actual experience of the engine of life and its momentum unifying our life with the life of the cosmos and everything in it. The experience of this realm is in all the other realms as well, albeit a unique insight and compassionate appreciation for all. This is also why this experience is unique to each sentient mind that attains it. The goal in Buddhism is to make enlightenment one's central life tendency. Within each of the 10 worlds is the potential for each of the other 10. This is referred to as the mutual possession or interpenetration of the 10 worlds, right? What this means in practical terms is that the potential for Buddhahood exists within each of the other worlds. So it's always there as potential. You don't have to scratch and claw your way up through each and every one of the worlds to reach the highest or 10th world of Buddhahood, right? Disabuse yourself of that kind of thinking. As you become aware of your life's tendencies to cycle among the lower 6 worlds, you can develop a seeking mind to escape from them. Your efforts, even to read this book about Buddhism, are the cause, effect, for you to break free from the 6 lower worlds' grasp, right? The accomplishment of enlightenment, or in other words, making the world of Buddhahood your life's central tendency, requires Buddhist practice. As stated before, the moment you chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, your life is in the world of Buddhahood. More to the point, your experience of Buddha influences all other 3,000 realms in each moment of life. Now you're driving, not the realms. Do you see the shift? Add to all of this that the 10 worlds are a simple guide to understand the tremendous speed of life, karma, and energies flowing through our consciousnesses constantly. Remember that not only are these 10 realms interpenetrating, as the learning of hell or hunger and humanity all at once and shifting through others, but that the total of 3,000 realms are constantly vying for your commitments and considerations in each and every moment of life. The only solution is to train our minds on Buddhahood to foster the best possible outcomes in the contests of our best nature and experience of life. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. This is the point of this dissection in Buddhism, answering many questions, but not least of which is, why do we practice? What are we accomplishing? Why do we chant? How does that work? Well, here it is, down to the nitty-gritty. Next up is the 3 bodies of Buddha. I hope these 2, part 1 and part 2 on the 10 worlds, help you gain a larger perspective, but more gratifying to me would be that you get your own insights, right, into the nature of how your mind is working, how you're experiencing life. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Please be kind to yourself. Take care of your health. Without your health, you cannot have a strong practice. You can't savor that amazing opportunity you have in each and every moment of your life. Take a second, if you will, to like and subscribe. Helps grow the Sangha. It's a propagation effort, so you're doing Bodhisattva work. Don't forget about all the free stuff. I say it all the time, threefoldlotus.com, the podcasts. All the links are in the description and in the video. Keep your practice strong. Okay? I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.